Good evening, dear friends. Well, here we are, talking with you about health, about what to do so that we feel no pain. But who cares about that when spring has come? Everyone suddenly wants to become much more beautiful and younger, preferably, at least to look that way. That's why I can't leave you in such a not quite beautiful state. And today on your screens, we will make it so that you can deceive others with your appearance, so that no one can say that you are, let's say, 65 or 45 or 35. So they think that you can't enter certain stores without a passport. Certain problems will be made up of what we do together. As you know, there are many exercises for facial rejuvenation. They can be divided into groups. Some are aimed at removing swelling from the face because swelling makes you look older. And the others are aimed at strengthening and training the facial muscles. But globally, we need to fix one problem that will allow us to solve all these issues, both with swelling and with weak muscles. And it will greatly enhance the effect of what you already do. For example, some facial gymnastics or some kind of massage to remove swelling from your face. Look what we're going to do together. Many of those who do this or conduct courses on facial muscle training, everything is good, they do everything correctly. But if they add one important thing to their arsenal, the effect of their work will be multiplied many times over, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. You think, what is shown here in this photograph? This is our occipitofrontalis muscle. The tendon helmet is a structure that each of you has. Don't be afraid, all of you have it. You wear a tendon helmet on your head, but it's a tendon one. For example, if you're riding an electric scooter or motorcycle and someone asks you, why aren't you wearing a helmet? You can say, I only have the tendon one with me. Be sure to wear it. Actually, it's best not to ride electric scooters or motorcycles at all. Here, look. The tendon helmet is right here. It covers the whole top of our head. It is located between two muscles, the frontalis muscle in the front and the occipital muscle in the back. The frontalis muscle, as everyone knows, works well for those who have wrinkles on their forehead. And for those who don't have them yet, it will also start working quite well over time. If we raise our eyebrows, that's the tension of this muscle. Its antagonist is the occipital muscle. It's usually very weak and insufficiently developed in most people. And between these two muscles, an imbalance occurs. The frontalis muscle is strong, while the occipital muscle is thin, weak, and atrophied. What happens when the frontal muscle contracts? The tendon helmet starts to shift forward, like this. This is the kind of movement it makes. It migrates in this direction. Why does facial sagging occur with age? You might know that you have fat pads on your face. Have you heard about that? So imagine that you have what's called an anatomical structure on your face. They are located around the eye, right here, as you can see. And with age, first of all, their structure changes. In some places, they can become thinner, migrate downward, they shift down here. And they are no longer distributed evenly. They start to pull the skin downward, and various such formations appear. This is above the upper eyelid starts to droop down. Here you get bags under the eyes, nasolabial folds, and here you get these things, and a second chin. What causes this? You must have thought this happens because of gravity. Something is pressing down on you here, and your face starts to sag downwards. But no, the movement doesn't happen from top to bottom. Your face doesn't migrate downward under the influence of gravity, but it's because there's no balance right here. That is, the migration of tissues starts from here, from this part. And if you just try to lift your face up somehow to remove some swelling, there will be an effect, but it won't be good enough. In order to stop facial ptosis, the migration of these fat pads, these traps, we need to do something to start movement in this area. We need to take the most powerful part that has shifted in you, which is the tendon helmet, and pull it back in the opposite direction. How do we do this? It's not enough to just relax the frontal muscle. We need to make the occipital muscle strong enough. The occipital muscle is barely involved in movements. It gradually weakens, becomes thinner. The difference between the frontal and occipital muscles increases, and the tendon helmet shifts forward. It loses its mobility and loses the ability to return back here. Adhesions appear, so-called. These are connective tissue formations between the fascia of the temporal muscle, between the temporal muscle and the fascia. Here is where it is located, here is the temporal muscle, and here it is covered. And with the tendon helmet itself, and the fixation of the tendon helmet happens in this forward position. It loses mobility, it doesn't move back well. And after that, the whole face starts to shift, moving downward like this. That means aging of the face actually starts from the back of your head. So you need to rejuvenate the back of your head in order for your face to look younger. So what should we do? Shall we get started, I think? Or should I tell you something else about your little fat pads? Okay, maybe someone thought to hang upside down by their legs, but that won't work. You need to do it right here. Enough unnecessary talk. So, friends, in order to understand how your tendon helmet moves, whether it's capable of movement, not everyone will be able to do this. Try to make this kind of movement where it's like the skin on your head moves back like this, so it goes back here. For some, the ears may start moving when doing this. I don't know if it's visible or not, so it may be quite a small movement. So right here, right in this area, you see? There's a movement, well, of the hair occurs. All together, right here, back this way. At the same time, your occipital muscle will tense up. That's exactly the tension of that muscle. The first thing we need to do is to take your tendon helmet, your hair. Try to make this movement. If you notice that it's happening, that your hand is moving, then it means not everything is lost. If nothing works, your eyebrows go up, your ears move, but here, nothing moves. Then help yourself with your hands. That is, just move the scalp here, in this direction, toward the back, move it here. Move it. Hold for a second, relax. Move it. Hold, relax. Divide into sections. Move along the center. A little to the left, a little to the right. You may find that, for example, on one side your skin moves more freely, and on the other side it moves less easily. Move it and see how it moves in the center. After this, try again to move the scalp back so that it turns here, rotates toward the occipital muscle. And relax, but at the same time, make sure that you don't tense your frontalis muscle, so that no folds form here. Because if your frontalis muscle tenses at the same time, then it won't be able to move backward. So either the tendon helmet moves forward, it moves forward when your forehead tenses, or it moves back. Here, folds should appear here, but if they appear, don't worry. But it's better to have them here than to have them here. So, what should you do next? Now, we've moved in this region. Usually this part, which is closer to the frontalis muscle, is more mobile. This part, which is closer to the occipital muscle, the very occipital muscle, is less mobile. So now, place your hands a little further back, and now move the skin, first forward, then back, toward the nose, toward the back of the head, toward the nose, toward the back of the head. Try again to move it by tensing the occipital muscle. Further, the movement can be hindered by the formation, as it were, of tension from the formation of such tendon bridges. Well, an adhesion process between the temporal muscle and the tendon helmet. Here, they are kind of together in this area. Therefore, We need to eliminate all these areas of tension between the temporal muscle and the tendon helmet right here. It's simply, well, we need to work through this area. Here you have the temporal muscle, and this whole place is occupied by the temporal muscle. You need to find, well, you won't be able to find the upper edge, exactly the very top edge. Well, it's approximately in this area here. And this whole part, first, you also need to see how the skin moves there. Shift it, that is, in the direction forward and backward. You need to try moving the skin back and forth here. See where it moves worse in which spot, both on the right and on the left. It can also happen that on one side the movement is good, and on the other side it's bad. It often happens that because of this, an eye on one side closes more strongly with the upper eyelid, and on the other side it's wider. Asymmetry like this can also occur. And first, use your hands to work through this whole area. Look, move the skin around. And then you'll need to work the temporal muscle itself more deeply. First, do this with your fingers and move the skin itself slightly backward. So you're affecting both the muscle and the skin, massaging in this direction. In the future, you can also work on the temporal muscle itself, for example, with a ball. Well, a tennis ball is better, one that's not too hard. You either lie on it, or you can do it next to a wall and then make movements a little forward, a little back. Find a painful spot, hold it. And here, along the upper edge of the temporal muscle, work through all of this. Especially back here. Right here. Here in the back, there are often areas that limit the mobility of the occipital muscle itself and the tendon helmet. And after you've worked through all of this, try doing the exercise again. This is preparation so that everything there just starts to move. The exercise itself goes like this. The first step to restore mobility is to move backward. As if you pulled the skin on your head back like this, hold it for a second, then relax. Pull it back, hold, relax. You do this in the area closer to your forehead and in the area closer to the back of your head. Here, pull it back as well. Hold, relax, pull, hold, relax. Just like that, pull it back, relax, pull it back, hold for a second, relax. And then try to do the same thing by tensing your occipital muscle. Tense it if you can, hold the tension for a second, then relax. Tense, relax. Tense, relax. Tense, relax. Just like that. So, this exercise allows you to globally stop the process of your face sagging toward the ground, so that your face turns back in the right direction, counterclockwise, if you look that way. Also, one of the reasons for weakness in the occipital muscle can be the formation of areas of tension in it. For that reason, what you did with the temporal muscle, the way you worked it out with the ball, you can do the same thing with the occipital muscle itself. You place the ball right here on the back of your head, directly on the bone, because the muscle is right here, that's where it is. Place it. It might be quite painful, there can be areas of strong spasm there. Once you find that spot, hold it. But here, a little lower, are the attachment points of the long neck extensors. If you hit them, that's good too. You'll improve the condition of the neck muscles and the blood supply to the brain, but you won't hit where you should. So, you have a little bump right here. It's on the occipital bone, and the muscles are located above it. It's paired, here on the right and on the left, and that's exactly where you need to target. The muscle, well, most likely, it's thin and weak, so you don't need a hard ball, use something softer. So you massage one side, and on the other side you can just press and hold. You can do this next to a wall or lying down, put the ball on something, and lie on it, for example. Here, you place it like this, approximately here is where it is located. Here, this is on the right side, and here is on the left side. They are located on the right and the left. So you place it here, just like this. Now, look for the painful spots. Move a little to the right, a little to the left. Once you find one, for example, hold it there. A little higher, a little lower. There will be quite painful spots. Try closer to the center, this area between the right and left muscles, right here in the center. There can be areas of tension right in the tendon itself. In general, there can also be painful spots there. You can also improve the innervation of this muscle. What is innervation? It's the connection between this muscle and the brain. It's connected by a nerve. This is a branch of the facial nerve. This is the posterior auricular nerve, and it passes through the sternocleidomastoid muscle. For that reason, just in case, to ensure good innervation along the nerve itself, so that nothing compresses it, you can also relax this muscle a little bit. To do this, turn your head, find the sternocleidomastoid muscle. The nerve passes through the upper part of this muscle. And here you can simply relax it like this, with movements from top to bottom. Just with these smoothing motions, you relax this muscle. Or tilt your head a little so that it sags forward a bit, and massage it in this way. Just be careful. Make sure you don't press on your carotid artery there. That's why it's better. If you're not sure what you're doing, just do it like this, just like this. Smooth out the sternocleidomastoid muscle, relax it a little. Stretch it slightly. How do you stretch the sternocleidomastoid muscle? Turn your head, lift it up a little, and in this position try to tilt it more, and you'll feel the stretch here in the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And once again, gently smooth it out like this so it relaxes a bit more. Simultaneously, your head position will change. It will tilt less forward, to the right, and left. But the main exercise is its training, meaning everything else is just preparation. Massage it so it works better, because if there are inactive areas in it, it's better to activate them first with massage. Right here, work through these areas. The frontalis muscle, well, you can relax it, but it will still tense up as long as it's weak back here. That is, they should balance each other. Well, friends, I can see your eyes are already shining, and your rejuvenated faces are already looking at me from the other side of the screen. Well, as usual, let's have a couple of positive comments, write some likes as well, and leave your comments. It's not forbidden to be amazed by today's video as much as possible, to share it with your friends who might have problems. And also share in the comments how many years younger you became after doing today's exercise. See you in the next episodes.